In this and the following videos, we will unveil the full potential of our 7 powerful sequencers, long-awaited features such as MIDI Save Export, Humanize Grooves, Step Editing, Synchronized Editing, and more for an organic performance of Tambora. Let's have a quick view of the Sequencer tab. The Sequencer tab contains the sequencer controls. You can load grooves from the Groove drop-down menu, which has a large list of varied rhythms. We have 4 grooves categories: rolls, traditional, cinematic, scenery, and 10 user presets. Create them yourself from scratch. The sequencer step display consists of 4 articulation lines arranged from bottom to top: open, closed, stick, and double stick. On each line, you can write and edit using 3 different editing modes. With the step slider, you can also determine the length in steps of the step display. The sequencer allows you to play different grooves without having to play them manually, simply by pressing and holding down a green key. Or triggering it with the same notes as the green keys in the DOS piano roll editor. Now let's see how the copy, paste, and clear buttons work. If you write a groove, for example this, and you want to copy this groove, you have to press the C button. And then if you want to paste this groove on another sequencer, for example the sequencer on the F5 key, you go there to the sequencer drop-down menu and paste the copied groove pressing the P button, paste. If you want to clear this groove, you can press the clear button. Let's go back to the C5 key from the first sequencer. I can clear it also if I don't want it, but because I have copied it before, I can paste it again. You can also save this groove to the first user slot as seen here in the Grooves drop-down menu. We are already there. If you press it, from default, it will erase your previous groove. Let's paste it again. If you want to save this groove to your first user slot, you only have to press the S button near the left side of the Groove drop-down menu. Now you can go away from the first user slot select it again, and there is your groove. But you would want to save your instrument, because if you don't save it, the next time you load it, your groove will be lost. Let's see how the MIDI drag and drop icon function works. The drag and drop MIDI function allows you to drag any loaded or created groove into the DAW or sequencer you are working in. The groove will be dragged with the last changes you have made automatically. Let's make some changes at the end of the groove. Add some roll there. Drag and drop the groove. Now let's turn on the Humanize button. We will explain this function in detail in the following video. Note that tempo and intensity changes generated by the Humanize button will be reflected in the exported MIDI file, but you can avoid this by deactivating the Humanize button. You can see here how small imperfections by the timing and by the MIDI velocity are applied when the Humanize button is on. Quantized. Humanized. Let's say you want to export the groove written in the current sequencer in MIDI format. The MIDI file will be saved to the custom file path you have designated with the folder button. The folder button will display a path field where you can type in the address of a folder on your computer. In this case, we have the desktop as a folder. Once you have determined the chosen folder, you can press the Save button 2 on the left side of the folder button to save the groove in MIDI format or overwrite the changes you have made. In this case, I am making a change to the groove at the end. That's because I want to save the groove with another name. Let's do some changes again. And let's save the groove as version 2. Now let's do this again. And save the groove as version 3. Now let's create a custom folder on the desktop where we will have our preferred grooves so that we can pull the MIDI files into DAW or into other programs. Don't forget to use the / to determine a folder. I am naming my folder for my preferred grooves MIDI with cap locks. Let's choose another groove. For example, Pendulum 1. Let's change the ratio. Now let's save it as it is. And you see, the MIDI file was saved into the folder I've just created. Now you see how the grooves are saved in the folder I have created for my preferred grooves. You have to be careful not to overwrite your MIDI files when you make changes and you save them with the same name. And you have also the possibility to save your own grooves with customized names. Let's show how it works. You have to write your MIDI file after the / as yourfile.mid. Now you can populate your DAW project with the MIDI files in your customized MIDI folder. Import the MIDI file into the DAW. Let's play it. Let's loop it to see if it plays exactly like in the Tambora sequencer. Let's play it in the Tambora sequencer to compare it. Remember that the sequencer plays the multisamples. The round-robin script and the crossfade script are applied between the velocities of each articulation. So, what is reproduced will be as realistic as playing with the multisamples. Thank you for staying with us this far, and see you in the next videos.